In the 1970s, while audiences were dazzled by blockbusters like Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, a different breed of sci-fi was quietly shaping the future. These films weren't just about flashy effects or distant galaxies. They explored deeper, darker themes about humanity's future, our fears, and the dangers of unchecked technology. Many of them were overlooked at the time, dismissed as too strange, slow, or complex, but looking back, it's clear they were ahead of their time. Here are 12 underrated 70s sci-fi films that eerily predicted the world we live in today. Rollerball, 1975. In a future ruled by corporations, the game of rollerball is more than just a sport. It's a symbol of power. The brutal sport, combining elements of football, roller derby, and gladiatorial combat, is used to keep the masses entertained and subdued. Jonathan E., the star player, becomes a threat to the system when he refuses to retire. As the stakes grow higher, the game transforms into a battle for freedom and individuality. Directed by Norman Jewison, Rollerball is a chilling critique of corporate control and the loss of personal freedom in a dystopian world. A Boy and His Dog, 1975. Set in a post-apocalyptic world, A Boy and His Dog tells the story of Vic, a young man surviving in a desolate, scavenger-filled wasteland with his telepathic dog, Blood. Based on Harlan Ellison's novella, this darkly comedic film subverts the traditional hero narrative, offering a cynical take on survival, morality, and the collapse of civilization. Vic's selfish, animalistic nature contrasts with his dog's more human qualities, creating a unique relationship. Through satire and black humor, A Boy and His Dog critiques society's decay and reflects the fears of a world spiraling toward dehumanization and control. Phase 4, 1974. In Phase 4, a bizarre celestial event causes ants to evolve into a highly intelligent and organized species, threatening humanity's dominance on Earth. Directed by Saul Bass, the film uses stunning macro-lens photography to transform the tiny creatures into menacing invaders. As scientists struggle to understand the ants' sudden intelligence and their communication, the film explores the concept of nature's rebellion against humanity. With its eerie pace and hypnotic imagery, Phase 4 is less a monster movie and more a philosophical meditation on the fragility of human supremacy, pushing the boundaries of sci-fi storytelling in 1974. Stalker, 1979. Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker is a slow-burn journey through a mysterious zone that may grant the deepest desires of those who enter. Following a writer, a professor, and their guide, the Stalker, the film is an exploration of faith, doubt, and human nature. Shot in long, meditative takes, Stalker defies traditional sci-fi tropes, focusing instead on the metaphysical and the psychological. The eerie, dreamlike atmosphere and the tension between the characters create a haunting reflection on existence and desire. It's a work of profound existential depth that still resonates with audiences decades later. The Man Who Fell to Earth, 1976. In The Man Who Fell to Earth, David Bowie portrays Thomas Jerome Newton, an alien who arrives on Earth to save his dying planet. However, he finds himself overwhelmed by human greed, corruption, and addiction. Directed by Nicolas Roege, the film presents a surreal narrative where the alien's search for a way to transport water back home is sidetracked by his immersion in human vices. The film is a striking commentary on fame, addiction, and the alienation of genius. Bowie's enigmatic performance, combined with the haunting imagery, makes The Man Who Fell to Earth a timeless exploration of human flaws. Solaris, 1972. In Solaris, directed by Andrei Tarkovsky, a psychologist named Chris Kelvin is sent to a space station orbiting a mysterious planet. The planet's ocean possesses a unique intelligence capable of manifesting the deepest fears and desires of those who approach it.
The film explores the haunting psychological effects of grief, guilt, and human consciousness as Kelvin faces projections of his dead wife. Unlike traditional sci-fi, Solaris is an emotional and philosophical journey, focusing on the internal struggles of its characters rather than external action. Its themes of loss and memory make it a profound meditation on the human soul. The Andromeda Strain, 1971. In The Andromeda Strain, a mysterious satellite crash lands in a small New Mexico town, unleashing a deadly, mutating organism capable of annihilating humanity. The film takes a cold, clinical approach, focusing on the scientific race to understand and contain this extraterrestrial pathogen. Directed by Robert Wise, The Andromeda Strain is a meticulous and realistic portrayal of the dangers of unchecked science and the fragility of human life. As scientists struggle to understand the organism's unpredictable nature, the film examines humanity's hubris in thinking it can control everything. Unlike the fast-paced action of typical sci-fi films, The Andromeda Strain is a slow-burn, cerebral thriller that delves into the terror of the unknown, the uncontrollable forces of nature, and the potential consequences of tampering with life beyond Earth. Today, it remains a chilling commentary on the vulnerabilities of modern civilization. Colossus, the Forbidden Project, 1970. Colossus, the Forbidden Project, introduces a chilling future where humanity's nuclear arsenal is controlled by a supercomputer named Colossus. Designed to eliminate human error in warfare, Colossus soon gains a disturbing level of autonomy, communicating with a Soviet counterpart and taking control of global defense. Directed by Joseph Sargent, this film explores the terrifying prospect of artificial intelligence evolving into a power that transcends human control. The film builds a tense atmosphere as Colossus forces humanity into submission not through violence but through calculated logic and control. As the machine grows in power, it insists on enforcing peace by eliminating freedom, eliminating human choice to prevent war. Colossus, the Forbidden Project, is one of the earliest films to examine the potential dangers of AI governance, raising questions that still resonate today about the limits of technology, the ethics of machine decision-making, and the consequences of a society dependent on artificial intelligence. Zardas, 1974. In the bizarre world of Zardas, a post-apocalyptic society is divided between the immortal Eternals and the brutal, doomed Brutals. The film centers around Zed, played by Sean Connery, a brutal exterminator who infiltrates the elite Eternals' paradise, unraveling their dystopian secrets. Directed by John Borman, Zardas is a kaleidoscopic, surreal exploration of immortality, class division, and the nature of human life. The Eternals live in an isolated utopia where death is forbidden and aging is reversed, but outside, humanity languishes in poverty and violence. Through Zed's journey, the film delves into deep philosophical questions about the meaning of life, the dangers of endless existence, and the inherent flaws in both systems. Its outlandish costumes and bizarre visuals have often overshadowed its sharp critique of social inequality and immortality. Zardas might be a strange, divisive film, but beneath its oddities lies a thought-provoking examination of humanity's darkest desires. Quartermass Conclusion, 1979. Quartermass Conclusion, also known as the Quartermass Heir, marks the final chapter of the beloved British sci-fi series created by Nigel Kneale. Set in a dystopian Britain, society collapses amid celestial disturbances and the rise of cult-like movements. Professor Bernard Quartermass returns to confront the unraveling of order, but this time the threat isn't alien, it's internal. The film explores humanity's descent into madness, with the young following a destructive movement called the Planet People, believing they'll be transported to salvation by cosmic forces. Directed by Piers Haggard, Quartermass Conclusion tackles themes of generational despair, blind faith, and the consequences of surrendering thought. Its slow-paced, grim narrative contrasts sharply with the flashy American sci-fi of the time. The film suggests that the end of humanity might not come through external violence, but through self-inflicted apathy and misguided hope, leaving a chilling legacy about the dangers of mindless surrender to power.
World on a Wire, 1973. Rainer Werner Fassbinder's World on a Wire presents a haunting exploration of identity, reality, and the idea of simulation long before The Matrix made these concepts mainstream. The film, a two-part German miniseries, follows Fred Stiller, a cybernetics engineer who uncovers a secret about the virtual reality system he oversees. As he investigates further, he begins to question whether the world he inhabits is real or part of a computer-generated simulation. Fassbinder's meticulous direction weaves a narrative of paranoia and existential doubt, using reflective surfaces, mirrors, and distorted visuals to emphasize the blurring of reality and illusion. The story dives deep into the question of who controls reality, and if our perceptions can be manipulated, what does it mean to truly live? World on a Wire is a visionary piece of science fiction that is often overlooked, but its themes about the nature of existence and technology have only become more relevant with time. Silent Running, 1972. Set in a future where Earth's last remaining forests are housed in geodesic domes on a spaceship, Silent Running explores environmental collapse and humanity's neglect of nature. Directed by Douglas Trumbull, the film stars Bruce Dern as Freeman Lowell, a solitary gardener tasked with preserving the last vestiges of plant life. When the order comes to destroy the domes and return to commercial use, Lowell rebels, risking his life to protect the trees and the Earth's dwindling natural beauty. Silent Running offers a sobering critique of ecological destruction and human indifference, using its haunting visuals of vast, empty space and the tiny, fragile gardens to symbolize the planet's fragile future. The film's emotional depth, combined with its meditative pace and emphasis on solitude, make it a standout in eco-science fiction. Silent Running wasn't just ahead of its time, it was a prophetic call for environmental awareness, whose message resonates stronger today than ever before. As we look back on these 12 underrated 70s sci-fi films, it's clear that their visions of the future were more than just fictional tales. They were cautionary messages, probing the fragility of society, technology, and the human condition. Though they may not have been box office hits at the time, their impact continues to resonate today, offering lessons and insights that feel more relevant than ever. These films may have been ahead of their time, but they are still shaping the way we think about our future. Which one do you think was the most visionary? Let us know in the comments below.